Hello, Rama Popoda. Hope all are in good health, feeling great, wonderful, having a nice life. Now let's go to chapter 37. The Scuffle over Ramdas. Amarnath Pilgrimage. At night, Ramdas and the pilgrim Pandit were lodged in a house of another Pandit, a resident of Matan and friend of the escort. Next morning, Ramdas came out of the house to have a view around. The importance of Matan lies firstly in its clear spring of water, which is collected in a small reservoir kept scrupulously clean and in which fishes sport. It is a delight to see and drink and bathe in this cool, transparent water, and secondly, in the old ruins of the Matat temple at a higher altitude. He paid a visit to the ruins. Except for the outer fallen walls and a dilapidated middle arched doorway, there remains nothing of the temple. The ruins strike the observer with an idea of the majesty, hugeness, and solidity of the structure when it was sound and whole. He spent an hour amidst these ruins, witnessing the surrounding landscapes. The temple was of god Matan, hence the name. Another morning, as he was tramping along the main road towards a cave a mile and a half from Matan, he met at the outskirts a crowd gathered on the road. When he neared, he heard a violent altercation in progress between a Pandit and a sparsely clothed sadhu. From the talk, Ramdas could make out that the sadhu had beaten a Pandit in his own house for refusing to give him some firewood, for which the sadhu had gone begging to his door. There was a commotion over the affair. He passed on and reached the wayside hill. Ascending a few yards, he came up to the narrow mouth of the cave. A little away at the front of the cave, to its right, was seated a girl in sannyasi robes before a fire. He was drawn to the place. By her side was a shallow gap in the hill which she had made a temporary abode. She was quite happy to see him, who took a seat before her at the fire. She had some milk which she heated on the fire and presented to him, and he drank the beverage sweetened with her pure love. She was a cheerful, free, and dauntless girl. Such are indeed of the kingdom of happiness. With a lighted splinter of wood provided by the sannyasini and which burnt like a candle, Ramdas entered the dark, narrow alley leading to the cave, which was in the bosom of the elevated hill. The walls of the passage and the interior of the cave were dripping with water issuing from a hidden spring. There were two compartments in the cave. In the larger of them was the Murti of Mahadev, Shivaling, and in the other a raised slab of stone under which, it was said, lay the bones of a saint who had lived there and given up his body. After a few minutes' inspection of the cave, he came out and, bidding adieu to the young mother, returned to Matan. Ramdas marked a look of anxiety on the face of the Pandit escort. When questioned about it, he disclosed the reason with a great hesitation. Maharaj, he said, the thing that worries me is this. We have to start higher up tomorrow or day after. As we ascend the hills, the cold will become more and more severe. I have brought blankets and clothing sufficient only for one, whereas you do not possess any for your use except the inadequate cotton sheets. I am told that some warm clothing would be sent to you through a friend of yours, but so far there is no sign of him. What shall we do? Leave the matter to Ram. He will see to it. Please don't worry, Ramdas replied. Busload after busload of pilgrims was arriving at Matan throughout the day, and he was set upon by the Pandit the task of watching the arrival of Ramcharandas. Till 4:30 he sat on a low wall of a bridge where the incoming motor buses halted. Suddenly a young man, dressed in the latest fashion of Srinagar and a high yellow turban, came towards him and, taking him by the arm, said, "There you are, Ramdas. I have caught you. You are to go with me to Amarnath. Although you may not remember me, I have seen you at the Nishad Bag with Amarnath Bakshi, who was my teacher and is now a great friend of mine. He has asked me to take care of you. Come along. I am a doctor. My name too is Amarnath. I go with the hospital camp that travels with the pilgrims as far as Amarnath with the object of looking after the health of the pilgrims. I have for myself a separate tent in which you are quite welcome. You will not be wanting in warm clothes and blankets. I have plenty of them to spare for you. Ram takes Ramdas always by surprise. Ramji, Ramdas spoke to the doctor. Ramdas came here in the company of a Pandit who has been very kind to him. Ramdas must let him know of the new arrangement. Come with me first, he said with a mock authority which was always his way. Such a kind and loving soul he was. I do not want you to slip out of my hands. Come with me to my tent. I know the Pandit you speak of. I shall send for him and talk the matter over with him. You need not bother about it. Catching Ramdas by the arm, the doctor led him to a tent pitched on a flat plot of ground under the shade of trees. Having him seated in a chair, the doctor sent a servant to fetch the Pandit. The Pandit came and saw Ramdas snugly lolling on a chair. Ramdas now became a quiet listener to the talk in Kashmiri tongue between the doctor and the Pandit. His stay for months in their midst had given him so much insight into their language that he could make out the trend of their talk. There ensued a war of words between them. The Pandit did not like to part with Ramdas. He went to the length of assuring the doctor that he would provide Ramdas with clothing and blankets. The scuffle went on for about half an hour, and the doctor in the end came off triumphant. The Pandit left the place grumbling and disappointed. At dusk, by the last motor bus, Ramcharandas also turned up. He had brought the woolen dress for himself and also for Ramdas. The same evening, Ramdas met a relation of the doctor who arranged to provide him with a long woolen cloak and an umbrella. God, when he wills to shower his favor on his children, does so unasked and in such profusion that they get dazed and bewildered. On the following day, the crowd of pilgrims moved onward and the hospital camp followed suit. So also Ramdas and Ramcharandas with two sturdy pandits, servants of the doctor, who kept him company. The doctor rode on horseback. By evening, they reached the second stage of their journey, Pelgon. The hospital camp was fixed on a vast plain near the bank of the river. Now Pelgon is a most captivating place. Lofty mountains on one side, a dense forest of firs and tall poplars on the other, and the smooth running river in the plateau of the valley. The vast open space with the enchanting borders lent sublimity and a unique fascination to the place. The glorious landscapes of Kashmir have been attracting tourists from various parts of the world. The charm and beauty of the landscapes, it is said, compare favorably with the world-famous sights and views of Switzerland. In Pelgon, in the thick crowds of pilgrims, Ramdas discovered Balaram Paramahans. When he so unexpectedly met Ramdas, his joy knew no bounds. Ramdas found him still a slave to the intoxicating drug, ganja. He asked Ramdas for a cloth and he parted with the spare one he had. He later learned that Balaram had not been permitted to proceed further up to Amarnath by the police, as he ran amok and began to assault the peaceful pilgrims, and the police drove him out of Srinagar to Rawalpindi. When Ramdas returned to the camp, he found that many new friends had joined the party, including some vakils and professors. Dr. Amarnath came to know that Ramdas had given away a cloth, and he roundly took Ramdas to task for what he considered a foolish act. He undertook the charge of Ramdas' spare clothes. Ramdas scarcely used the long gown, the gift of the doctor's relation, particularly this cloak, and the doctor packed covertly in his kit. Whenever Ramdas put it on, a guard was kept on him so that he might not give it away. At noon, he met a white missionary who became very friendly with him. Ramdas spoke to him of God, love, and Christ. He was immensely pleased and proposed to arrange for a sermon by Ramdas in their church on his return from Amarnath. That's all, folks. Let's see in the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Rama Pupodu.